What up, everybody? It's John Iro, aka Hitman, Skill, Clan Chief, El Jefe, El Chapo, the wise one, the annoying one, whatever you need to call me. I'm here for the real gamers, let's get it. In today's video, we tried to give our own unique analysis of the likelihood of each rumor, as well as the complications behind it and our own personal opinions, predictions on how things will go or be implemented in either event. Alright everybody, as always, take these rumors as a tiny granulated diamond shavings of salt from the great Arctic shelf. Only time will tell which are fake snow or worse, yellow snow, and which rumors are the real deal. Sound off in the comments, fact or fiction, when you think it's coming true or not. Slide me a like if you're made to the end of the video and subscribe if you're new here. Maybe I'll get some crypto, probably not though. Psych! Starting with the top 6 rumors and then stay tuned for the lightning round. Rumor number 1. Valve doing standalone VR with brain controller. Valve has patented a standalone index VR headset similar to the Oculus Quest 2 and with a wireless PC VR headset based on the index as well. RoadToVR.com has a full breakdown on this. Their headset may also include brain controller interface controls, which we reported have been patented by Valve quite some time ago. And that would be capable of things like the which of what we first saw in the 2006 release of the Emotive Epoch's brain controller project, which was compatible with popular games like CSGO and even provided an emotional response while measuring frustration to adjust the difficulty while you play. Rumor number 2, Microsoft buying Discord? Just yesterday it came out that Bloomberg is claiming a new rumor Microsoft is allegedly going to buy Discord. According to the reports, which are behind a paywall on the Bloomberg website but have also been shared on various online forums where the rumor is being discussed by industry insiders, anonymous of course. And while there's not much details surfacing just yet, it is a pretty exciting development, if true, with Business Insider claiming $10 billion is the buyout, and the rumor originally coming from VentureBeat by the looks of it. Rumor number 3, the big boy. So you might think it's Thanksgiving again already, the way Microsoft's been gobbling up all these game companies, with Bethesda acquisition bringing in twice as much money for Todd Howard as George Lucas got for Star Wars. Nadella and Spencer from the Xbox executive team have been showing that they're brave business leaders who stand by their vision. Everyone knows JRPGs and family-friendly games are the weak points of the Xbox Game Pass currently, which is taking the world by storm. Even Microsoft Game Studios admits this, but amazing exclusives take time to develop. The head start that Sony has on crafting exclusive games for PlayStation will be hard for Xbox to overcome, as they are just now getting started on most of the projects that will blow us away from their many new studios. However, they haven't stopped buying studios yet, and this lack may be addressed by future acquisitions of Xbox, hinting towards the Xbox team's size and scope of their next purchase. So if it sounds unbelievable, I understand, but the rumors are currently swirling around Persona 5 Royale hitting Xbox Game Pass have given birth to a very complicated situation. As fate would have it, Atlas hasn't been doing so great financially since they almost went bankrupt and got acquired by the defunct specter of gaming themselves, Sega, back in 2013, or technically Sega Sammy. And when the acquisition was finalized by trade authorities in 2016 for Atlas to become part of Sega, from what I can tell, Sega and Atlas, they both make beloved games that the industry holds dear, more so Atlas lately, but are wildly inadequate at running a profitable business. Perhaps they're still infested with corporate cronies embezzling through pump and dump schemes, smoking cigarettes, sweating bullets at investor meetings. I don't really know, because their inner workings of these two companies is so boring. It's not exactly Activision versus Infinity Ward, so we just want the games to get the most support that they can and hope for the best, while the worms are allowed to continue their work unseen, living under a rock, and the game industry slowly, surely passes them by. Back in September of last year, Inverse called this the most persistent rumor in gaming. At first, many years ago, this sort of Xbox/Sonic partnership was first mentioned. Perhaps gamers were just wishful thinking that the Xbox One could have launched with a proper mascot like Sonic and Conquer together. Mature Sega titles like Yakuza, while also fulfilling the JRPG need a little by adding the Phantasy Star series to the Xbox exclusive lineup. The way that things went down last gen, it began to seem extremely unlikely that such a deal could ever happen, as Don Mattrick, ex-CEO of Zynga, was in charge of Xbox at the time and fumbled the ball repeatedly with half-baked ideas of a focus on TV shows and movies instead of games, and an always-online DRM infrastructure that was frankly ahead of its time. Flash forward to 2021 and Microsoft just brought out Phantasy Star Online 2 for North America after many years of fans wishing and waiting for an official English release. Phil Spencer held presentations with Sega executives who admitted to the world that, quote, Xbox made this possible. The Yakuza series has always witnessed a massive renewal of interest from the gaming world, as a whole new segment of players have been able to get their hands on the game thanks to another Sega and Microsoft deal which saw the series release on Xbox Game Pass, further strengthening this dynamic duo. And last but certainly not least, Persona 4 Deluxe Edition was brought out on PC to smashing success, breaking the Sony exclusivity of the mainline Persona series for the first time in the franchise North American history. I say North American history because we are excluding really late ports of older Persona games in Japan on PC, and of course we're excluding the 3DS spin-offs, which is why I said mainline series, etc. Top Hat Gaming Man, a YouTuber focusing on accurate video game history preservation, is one of the many gaming historians who has documented the rich and detailed relationship Xbox and Sega have shared, even before the very first Xbox ever released. It turns out Microsoft has already been considering buying Sega before they came up with their plan to make their own consoles, and even though the deal never happened, Windows CE was licensed for every Sega Dreamcast ever released, and the hardware teams designing together on this project would not have been their last. Xbox development kits are sometimes said to be the Sega Dreamcast 2 in a spiritual successor sort of way, not literally, and that can be attributed to the teamwork between the two hardware engineering teams throughout these decades. There were even talks of Dreamcast discs working on Xbox hardware, but this never came around either. This should also serve as proof that sometimes companies can be in discussion of something, but it doesn't mean exactly what's being discussed can be practical to create as products. In the end, porting the games to Xbox was much more logical, and the end of Sega's console maker career for the time being. We will miss you, Virtual Memory Unit. What's that, VMUs? Real gamers know. Doubters of this rumor attribute the difficulty of transferring holdings between Japanese companies and American companies, thereof the impossibility for Americans to own a company in Japan, due to restrictive nationalist laws in place to protect the Japanese economy from foreign takeovers. In the case of their ownership of Tango Gameworks, this has seemingly been solved somehow, with Microsoft owning the Japanese studio founded by Resident Evil and the Evil Within creator Shinji Megami. Now, there is one possibility, of course, which we haven't talked about yet, and that is a licensing deal. Sega still has studios making games, and Atlus may be fine with just receiving money from Microsoft to keep their already mastercraft vision alive. But what if there was another Japanese company who had no interest in succumbing to the buyout of Microsoft Game Studios for its Xbox Game Pass? What if there was some entity which was willing to participate in the currently popular platforms of the industry, but not willing to commit long-term to anything gaming related? Enter Konami. With conflicting reports, we've been hearing for some time now from industry insiders that there's an open secret in Japan about Sony packaging and licensing a development deal of some sort with Konami, seeing the potential for Hideo Kojima and the original Silent Hill director working together with leaders in the PlayStation Studios development pool to make two new games, one a remake and one a reboot for the series. If this is true, then the rumors of Microsoft trying to acquire Konami could have been wild exaggerations that spun out of an original truth. Xbox could potentially be doing a licensed deal with one of Konami's properties, such as Castlevania. Part of the reason for these whisperings to rise to the level of people thinking Sony will be granted permission to purchase the Metal Gear Solid brand from Konami permanently, or that Microsoft could buy Sega itself, is that real-life talks go on considering these as options between executives. Less exciting though it may be, a much more likely outcome is seeing progress in the way of licensed games deals for IPs. Before we could see full IP sell-offs or Japanese companies being acquired, they still have the ability and willingness to resist and hold out for much longer than a firm like Bethesda, due to the design of their business model and restrictive Japanese laws. Because PlayStation and Konami are both Japanese, it would also be much more likely that Sony could buy Konami in whole or entire IPs from its stable, even with less capital on hand than Microsoft. But given their strong and close relationship, a shocking acquisition of Sega and Atlus by Xbox could still happen. Also, word on the street is Persona seems to be coming to Xbox Game Pass. Rumor number 4. Better late than never. The Mandalorian is a hit television series that we still seriously call television series, even though it's only on Disney Plus. I guess it's still a telepathic vision by the literal sense. After its huge success, EA's huge fail being the exclusive game developer from the Star Wars franchise, Disney has opened up the floodgates and reached out to companies like Ubisoft to help make more Star Wars games per year, including some based on films and one potentially based on The Mandalorian. Ever since Star Wars Bounty Hunter on PlayStation 2, I've been fascinated with the idea, which is based on the comic book Jango Fett Open Seasons by Hayden Blackman. It may not have aged well for some aspects, but at the time each mission was crafted in such a way you somehow felt in a semi-open world, cinematic film quality experience, an action-packed living world with interesting lore, choices on how to approach each mission, and a variety of outcomes to those decisions. Not to mention tons of cool stealth, weapons, vehicles, equipment, and a tangible connection to the Star Wars universe. Looking back at that formula, it seems Disney is incredibly behind on cashing in on this idea. Even at EA Games, the developers like Amy Hennig and Jade Raymond had seen this potential and were making projects like Project Ragtag and Star Wars 1313, basing the concept of the game as an adaptation of Star Wars to the Uncharted 2 style of cinematic action storytelling, before EA canceled them, that is. So will we really see a Star Wars Mandalorian game? It looks like the answer might be yes, but not for a long time, and don't expect too much out of it. Keep in mind, the Disney that's expanding its licensing agreements and allowing more companies to make Star Wars games is also the same Disney that was perfectly fine with EA just making Battlefront microtransaction dumpster fires for years on end. It took government intervention for them to care about what EA was doing to the Star Wars intellectual property, which they bought for half of what Xbox paid for Bethesda. So keep all of that in mind when you're getting excited for a Mandalorian game. Rumor number 5, when's the nuke? When's the nuke already? Call of Duty nuke rumors have been going on for over a year since Warzone first launched as a free add-on to Modern Warfare, and before Treyarch even began their zombies invasion of Warzone as well. However, as we see Activision's mishandling of the zombies event by having zombies spawning at the wrong places during the wrong times and generally out of control with regards to where they go and what they do with players, how they interact with the zombies experience in the middle of a Warzone battle royale seems to have been made less of a hit, and Outbreak is mostly what players who own Cold War would prefer the actual zombies mode you pay for. That being said, we do have recent statements being made by executives which seems to let us know that the nuke event and even the rest of the zombies event may not be completely rolled out until possibly the start or middle of Season 3. In a recent interview, the rep said, in the upcoming seasons, plural, WTF, you're going to see some real cool new stuff that Warzone has never done before. Check back in about 4 to 5 weeks. We might be able to speak a little bit more specifically. This, of course, referring to April 20th, the end of Season 2. So there you have it, folks. Practically confirming on air that Season 2 won't have anything new, cool, or exciting beyond what you've already witnessed. Unless, of course, the rep is mistaken or plans change between then and now. So in summary, rumor number 5 is that it's rumored that the nuke ain't coming yet, baby. Keep racking up the kills in Warzone while you're waiting. But when we are done waiting, Plague Zones will be nuked in Verdansk, which is being tracked in the Outbreak event, and players may or may not be able to affect the outcome of the game. Audio leaks have also suggested that new game modes, including car races, obstacle modes with helicopters, and more. But these could just be keeping us waiting during Season 2, or it may be closer to Season 3 again. The Zombies event got criticized by fans as being lazy compared to the Halloween event, which changed the environment, look, and feel of the game. Warzone will certainly need to step up its game if it wants to stay competitive in the world-changing updates of other games. There's also a hint of diversification of modes, where players can do more than just Battle Royale, including Team Deathmatch and more, but I personally don't think that part is true, since we already have Call of Duty multiplayer day. Rumor number 6, Starfield MMO and Phil Spencer collabed with Todd Howard to, quote, add way more WoW moments to Starfield. It may be many years from now, but rumors have already been circulating around the potential direction of ZeniMax Online and its new projects. Recently, some less than flattering screenshots from Starfield and a potential release date were leaked, but these screenshots were simply from a test cell of Creation Engine in a 2018 build. It seems on one hand that the game is still in a quite unfinished state, while on the other hand we are beginning to see Bethesda's vision for the game being taken to the next level, extra features and systems being added or completely revamped or overhauled in the game, with Xbox investment and Xbox Studios partnerships, particularly with respect to id Software helping out in the graphics department to enhance what has already been built, Probably not an id Tech game, of course, it's already in the creation engine, but developers can still dramatically improve the quality of the game. Besides the mid-development engine overhaul that we've been promised, we've also heard that Xbox deal has allowed Todd Howard and his team to implement multiple planets and base building into the single-player Space Cowboy RPG. Repeatedly, Bethesda has told its audience that space travel in Starfield universe is more of a first entry to the new franchise, where space travel is akin to air flight during the early days of homebrew flight. It was going on, people were doing it, but it wasn't perfect yet and it wasn't safe yet. That could lead us to why there's base building, how it's similar to the settlements in Fallout. Hang on, guys. It's also not similar because of the space element, and we'll get into that right now. In the lightest possible form, survival elements have been seen as a great boon to RPG games, upping the ante, so to speak, of the excitement knowing that you could lose it all to factors beyond your control, just trying to survive space. In this case, as a form of nature on top of whatever enemies you've been along the way, based on the decisions as a rogue-like adventurer, puns definitely intended. What if Starfield requires you to continuously, whether actively or passively, like automatically through space travel or whatever, the collection and hoarding of resources similar to how humans do, such as precious metals, iron ore, gold, titanium, uranium, and so on, in order to maintain your ship. Furthermore, if different planets and asteroids have potential to be home bases in between your main base and or towns and places that you visit. This is the promise of No Man's Sky all over again in a way, but if we reduce our expectations and just think of it as a fun Bethesda game with bonus layered on top of an already cinematic open world Western RPG from the Bethesda and Xbox teams working together, hopefully bringing some improvements, it could be very fun after all. I wouldn't mind my Starfield character farming crypto, food, hoarding stashes of precious metals, broken iPhones and the like, hopping on my jet spaceship and forgetting which asteroid I left my previous base on, then hitting up a planet nearby to visit in between until I land on the right one again. It sounds great and could fit way better with Bethesda's style of lore and world building. Think the Dark Brotherhood in space, best case scenario, versus No Man's Sky, which took a long time to get updates, eventually implementing these kind of gameplay moments. Let me know if you think I'm on the right track in the comments, people. Second part to this rumor, Starfield is getting an MMO from ZeniMax Online, with development starting right now. In addition to expanding the game, Xbox head Phil Spencer and Bethesda spokesperson and co-founder Todd Howard seemingly came to an agreement quickly, according to rumors, that the next project for ZeniMax Online would be a Starfield MMO, possibly based on id Tech engine with MMO development tools being built on top of it by a combination of developers including id Software, Bethesda Softworks, and ZeniMax Online. Last but not least, Starfield is rumored to be releasing 2021 according to a leaker who presented the screenshots that were showing survival elements like oxygen to CO2, gravity, and other orbital information, as well as base building. And it is also expected that the game will release on Xbox Game Pass for Xbox Series X, S, and Xbox One X, S base models before the PC version. This is completely unconfirmed, but we'll have to wait and see. Lightning round. Okay everybody, now it's time for the lightning round. EA brags about Battlefield 6 to Goldman Sachs in investors briefing, and finally some more information about the game. Allegedly, the Battlefield 6 trailer itself is coming in May, and further details in June. EA's next investor call takes place on May 11th, 2021, which means that we should see Battlefield 6 trailers soon beforehand. Battlefield 6 is said to be taking place in the modern era and featuring large multiplayer battles up to 64 players on each team. Halo Master Chief Collection, rumored to be coming to the Switch via xCloud. This rumor has been going for quite some time and it remains. And Elon Musk hints at Halo Master Chief Collection coming to Tesla vehicles. Nintendo begins to concede to investors that more Switch models are needed, as OLED Switch Pro expected February 2022 due to shortages and worldwide delays in manufacturing. And the Switch Pro rumors are getting out of hand. Viewer beware, more and more hype. Don't get on the hype train. It'll be great, but not that great. Dang, y'all. Update on Silent Hill rumors. Microsoft rumored to be purchasing Konami, launching 10-year development plan for large exclusives. We went over that earlier, but just a heads up, we're also hearing on the side that PlayStation Silent Hill remakes are almost ready to be announced by Hideo Kojima himself. We have no idea if this is true or not, but many industry insiders are under the belief that it is an openly known project in Japan, being kept under wraps by promotional schedules. GamerOfficial.com alleges leak of San Andreas remake. The Gamer alleges rumor of press release allegedly showing the PlayStation 3, PSP, and Vita digital storefronts being closed down during summer 2021, sometime within the next few months. Facebook's looking at the possibility of buying Stadia, would be likely gutted and redesigned though around streaming PC VR games to Oculus Quest headsets for a monthly fee to FB, directly similar to Xbox Game Pass but in the cloud and for VR games. This comes right after Facebook also announced that they do not allow things like shadow cloud gaming PCs to be streaming to the Oculus Quest, which was quite upsetting to many people in the community and still hasn't been fully resolved yet. The Elder Scrolls Online 2, as we did cover ZeniMax Online, will likely be working on the Starfield MMO as an urgent project, but in the background they will also have a team who was allowed to slowly develop the very first concepts before the Elder Scrolls Online 2 development, which can potentially be an exclusive to the Xbox Game Pass if rumors are to be believed, as well as a completely new set of game engine tools built on top of the experiences from Xbox Game Studios with the Velocity engine on Xbox Series X and more. And last but definitely not least, Xbox VR alleged leak. Xbox headset found as VR headset when plugged into Xbox Series X by IGN Italy during review testing. This may be a slip of the tongue from the operating system, which spit out an error message saying, quote, "Error, this VR headset must be updated." Xbox PR says, "This copy in the error is due to a translation bug. We are not focused on VR at this time." Quote, "But I'll go on record, myself, Jon RealGamerNewZ here, saying that I don't believe that at all. And I'm a little excited. They probably just aren't ready to get the hype train rolling yet, as their VR move might be far, far into the future. But RGN's prediction is that Xbox will partner with Oculus Quest eventually as their primary VR headset, but will also support Valve Index upcoming standalone headset, and all PC VR headsets are likely to be supported as well on the Xbox in some form or fashion. I don't think most people who want to play with an HTC Vive wired to a console, wireless is the way to go. But I think Xbox just wants to get the support, so they'll provide a support to a number of headsets, including Vive, Index, Rift S, etc. Probably as many as they can, Cosmos, HP Reverb, and so on. And give a major focus, though, to the Quest and Quest 2, since Facebook Gaming is working with Microsoft after they have acquired Mixer. This seems like a logical partnership. They probably just aren't ready to get the hype train rolling yet, as their VR move, like I said, might be far, far into the future. Also, let me know what you guys are playing lately. For me, I'm playing Morrowind and Oblivion on Xbox Game Pass lately, streaming wireless to my bed at night onto the Oculus Quest and using the Xbox controller. Honestly, setting up cool stuff like this takes up more time than playing sometimes. I've also been playing Bravely Default 2 on the Nintendo Switch. Stay tuned for how-tos and stuff like that. Join our Discord for VR squatting up. And as always, until next time, keep it real and keep it gaming. Peace. What's up, everybody? It's Jon from RealGamerNewZ. Subscribe. Reviews, podcasts, and more episodes of RGN today. If you like our video, thumbs up and subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified about each new video we make.
Gotta get the follows.
Thanks for checking out today's video. Like and subscribe and ring the bell notification so you don't miss out on future videos. Peace.
I'll let you in on a little industry secret. EA is synthetic detergent. It's not even real soap.